Welcome, welcome. This is Gull, your money mindset expert, and I'm so excited. We're speaking to Nichole Carlson. Welcome, Nichole.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. You guys have heard the intro. You know how amazing Nichole is. She is a kick-ass lady. But in your own words, Nichole, tell everybody what it is that you do.
I help women manifest big money in their businesses so that they can scale on a big level. So I help them go from like 10K, 20K to 50K or 80K months within a matter of months.
Fabulous, fantastic. So you're a fellow money mindset expert. So you work on many people's money mindset, which is awesome. We love that. We love that. All right, Nichole, so this is great. And I love the fact that you do this as well, because I know how important this is. But I want you to start us and tell us, how did you get into this? I mean, obviously you're not born into this kind of profession. I know for a fact that, I didn't study to become a lawyer to end up doing what I'm doing at the moment. So talk us through, start from the beginning. How did you get to being here where you are now?
Well, I'm so glad you asked because it was quite a journey. I grew up and I grew up with like a middle class mindset. We didn't have a lot. I was an army brat. And so I thought that we didn't have a lot because we were moving all the time, and it doesn't make sense to have a lot of stuff if you're moving every 2 years. But I had this minimalistic mindset, this middle class mindset. And there were a few things about money that came up in my childhood, but they weren't really big. And I think the thing that really made me have a bad money mindset was things that happened to me in my 20s, right? So I got married and we didn't have a lot of money when we first got married. But the more we both became software engineers, and the more money we made, the more we grew apart. And I consciously, I knew we were growing apart. I knew that like things weren't working out. I knew we were headed for divorce. But subconsciously, I blamed money for it because we didn't have any money when we got together. Both of our parents were living in mobile homes. And then we got together and we had nothing. We were students going to school, you know how it is. And then we kept getting more money and we were making multiple six figures when I got my divorce. And I was just so mad at money. I went and I traveled, but I got to a point where I was homeless and eating out of dumpsters because I was mad at money, not because I fell into hard times. It was because I had something to prove. You know how late 20s, early 30s, right? I wanted to prove that I didn't need money.
Yeah.
Wow. And so I was actually in England, homeless.
Oh, okay. My neck of the woods.
Yes, in Bristol, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I was homeless and eating out dumpsters and traveling with other people who were also homeless by choice. Yeah, it was a whole group of us. And then I found my happiness. I like bad marriage and like all that stuff that went down. I wasn't happy. And I found my happiness when I had nothing. And
interesting. How interesting is that? You found your happiness when you had nothing. Why was that?
Because you find who you really are. In today's world, it's so easy to get distracted with, okay, you got to do the next thing. You got to go to school. You got to get married. You got to do this. You got to get careers. You got to get cars. And like, it's so easy to stay on this path. But when it's quiet, this is why meditation, like for your audience listening, please just meditate.
Let's skip over the homeless and eating out dumpsters part, right? Let's leave that to one side and just go straight to meditation. That's a much better route.
Journaling, meditation, quiet the mind, spend some time alone. Don't do what I did. But for some people, some really stubborn people, you need to throw it all away and figure it out on your own. And so I was standing in line at a soup kitchen, and I realized like, oh, wow, I'm actually homeless. Like it didn't occur to me until like 4 or 5 days in that I was homeless because we were squatting. And I was like, oh, I'm homeless and I'm happy. And I found my soul. Like I had like the quietness and like I found my soul. And I was like, this kind of sucks.
You found your happiness and it kind of sucks. That's
like living homeless and that minimalistic, like I have to prove something.
Okay.
Right. And I was like, you know what? I found what I needed to find. I found, the things that most people find through journaling and meditation. I found my quiet, happy place. And I was like, you know what? I can take what I have now and build life on my terms. And so I came back to the US and I eventually started my business. And I got into like business coaching and strategy and realized that it doesn't matter if you have all the strategies, you're going to come up against blocks. And so I really faced my blocks, and it was amazing how fast my business scale. And not only that, the things that I was learning, I was teaching to my clients, and they went from like 10K to 50K within 30 days, or 20K months to 20K days within 30, 60 days. Right.
Yeah. And that's it. And what kind of work were you doing with them? Was it mindset? Was it energy work? What kind of work were you doing?
Money mindset. Yeah. So it was like really looking at the big picture about their relationships, with their parents. I help people manifest their soulmates because that's part of my journey that happened. Like I manifested my future husband a couple of years ago, and I put some of that energy work into the money mindset work as well. So it's really essentially connecting to your soul, listening to your soul. But to do that, you need to heal.
Agreed.
And you need to heal from things that you didn't think that you needed to heal from.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think this is the key. And this is something that you and I can probably talk till the cows come home about. It's not about the strategy. It's not about the next shining object syndrome that people keep talking about. It's actually going deep within and dealing with those deeper wounds, especially childhood ones, and especially related to your mom and dad. I have that in my mastermind, which is the earliest mind paradigm, mom story and dad story. There are 2 modules specifically on that for this reason, because until you've healed, you can't move forward. And even if you do, you're stuck in the boom and bust cycle. And you make money, you lose money, you make money, you lose money. And you're doing that literally on a repeat cycle again and again. And you're wondering, why am I going bust all the time? And, and people refer that to self-sabotage or burnout. And I know exactly it's neither of those. It's actually, you're coming up against your blocks, as you just identified, and you need to work on those blocks, not, the strategy side of it. So, once you recognized it, how did you deal with your own blocks? Because that's the major issue that people like you and I would find. Like, I would love to have someone like me who can come and do the work that I do. So now it's not necessary, but when I was going through my stuff back in 2016, it was hell. 2017, that was such a difficult period because I had to face my deepest, darkest demons. How did you deal with yours?
Well, the thing of it is we never want to face our demons. We never really want to heal. We don't want to do the self-love. So the way I did it was I was working on things in my business, strategy and all of that. And I would find something that wasn't working, or I'd find a pattern that was like, I'm not going to do this again. Like 2019, I made no money, but I had been in business for 3 or 4 years and I had taught how to make money in your business. So it was like, it was crazy that was happening. So I really had to face it. So I stopped focusing on strategy and started focusing on like dedicating myself to money mindset and healing my money story. and looking at my relationships, looking at my, like, what was going on in my body. 2019, I had also had 4 years of chronic pain that was just in my body, and it was just like stored up from relationship trauma, money trauma, all this stuff that happened to me in my 20s, pretty much things that I thought were not a big deal, right? But it was stored up and I was like, what is wrong with me? Doctors couldn't figure it out. I kept going to physical therapy. Like, nobody could figure it out, but I was in bed most, like 90% of the day, or doing physical therapy. So this was this was a huge issue. All I could talk about was my healing, and I isolated. I lost a lot of friends, and that's really where my life started changing, because I was in so much pain, physical pain. And then I worked on my emotional healing and my money story. And one day I just decided, because I'd been doing the actual physical work, one day I actually decided, I'm done with this. And I healed myself instantly.
Perfect. Oh my goodness. That's the snap, that you need.
Yes.
But it's, I mean, I can so relate to that, because it is and from what you're telling me, it's just, it almost seems like you wanted something, but the universe said, oh, really? And this is what I talk about to people. When you are really going for your goals, sometimes you see all the obstacles. Those are not obstacles put there by the universe to prevent you from moving forward. They're actually to highlight what stories, what blocks that you have created in the past, which are still blocking you. So it's the universe saying, I love you, Nichole. I want you to have this, but look at all the crap that you've got stored up. Can we get rid of this first? Because you can't move ahead without it. And this is what manifested in your body through physical pain. I love that. I mean, it's an awful pain journey to go through, but what a dramatic story. I mean, and when you're ready for it, you can heal that quickly. Those miraculous healings that we hear about from the biblical times and the Prophet Muhammad's time, so peace be upon him. It's because people had such strong belief in those individuals that instantly they were healed. But you can do that right now. You have access to that power right now. But people are unaware of that power, aren't they? But you did.
No. Yes. It was just this thought that I could heal myself. And I knew it took me about 9 months of me knowing that I could heal myself, knowing that this was emotional pain, and trying to like work my mind around the idea of like me actually deciding to be healed. And it was like, my mind was like, okay, so how do I decide to be healed? I'm doing all these things, but how do I decide? And so a lot of people are in that same situation with like, how do I decide that I'm done with this money issue? How do I get on the other side? Because they know that they're entrepreneurs, and they have the potential to make like so much money, so much, like 100K months easily, right? That's why we got into entrepreneur, to like make an impact, but also like have that freedom lifestyle. And we know that all we have to do is decide, but it takes time to figure out what deciding actually means and how to get your mind on the other side of that. Right?
That is so powerful. So powerful. I think you hit the nail on the head. Being consciously aware of it and subconsciously accepting it are two different things. And most people get stuck in their conscious mind, and the subconscious mind keeps rejecting it. And the reason why the subconscious mind keeps rejecting the idea, the desire, whatever you're manifesting, is because of these blocks and these stories, which you have to heal. So I think the 9 months weren't there for just because you were deciding. I think they were there because you were healing. You had to heal those stories. Once you had healed internally, it was easier for your conscious mind to accept, yeah, I can heal myself and I can do it instantaneously. And you did. I think that is such an amazing journey. And I mean, we both work on money, but my wins that I see for my clients are these wins when they overcome these personal obstacles, or they achieve these amazing results, not because of the money, because money is great to have. An accountant are fabulous. And one of my clients recently, from going to someone who, she had to borrow money to pay for the mastermind, literally not for the full mastermind. She took the 12-month payment plan. for my mastermind, from someone who borrowed money from an adult child to pay for it for the first month, is currently in the last 3 months made, or last 3 or 4 months, she's made over 300 euros, 300,000 euros, not 300 euros, 300,000 euros in a matter of like 3 or 4 months. Those kind of incredible stories which come, those are great, but that story has less impact than the one she shared when she said she was so over the moon that she was able to book for herself, her mother and her sister and 2-3 other people first class tickets. Now, that was such a powerful story. Like, that was more important than making the 300,000 euros, because that is her shifting her life and those people around her, isn't it? And that's what motivates you, and that's what motivates me, that we can create it, but you have to do the internal work first.
Yes. And it's like, no, like, I definitely did not want to do the internal work. I'm like,
no, nobody does. Who wants to sit there and peel away the layers and, go, oh, I was hurt there. Oh, that really put me to, that's very shameful. I was humiliated. That who wants to deal with that past pain? You want to face it. And the humiliation of being that relationship that you just went through as well, the first marriage. Who wants to go through that pain? I don't. You don't. No sane person does. But unfortunately, that's the journey we have to take, right?
Yeah. To get past any of your blocks, to get to the next level, it's about healing the past. It's about changing your subconscious to realize it's safe to love again.
Yeah.
That it's safe to be in your body, that it's safe to say yes to money, right? And it's such a journey because we don't feel safe. That's why we have anxiety when we look at our bank accounts, right? That's like all of these things are all the things that you're experiencing around money and your business and clients not paying or clients can't afford you. Those are your money blocks. They have nothing to do with a lack of leads. They are your money blocks. So if you combine like what is actually happening with, okay, what do we need to heal to get you to be able to attract leads like a magnet, right? You want to attract leads like a magnet. Well, let's go into like what actually what do you actually need to shift internally?
Awesome. And I think this is the key, that for everything to shift externally, you have to shift things emotionally, internally. And without it, you can have the best strategy, the best mentor, for business wise in the world, but you won't move anywhere because you're internally stuck in the old paradigm and you're not shifting yourself. And this is the key. So I can completely understand that. Okay, so this has been a fascinating conversation, my lovely. Tell us, we need to have you back for Money Talkers. We're going to talk more deeper about where it is that and how it is that you ended up being this amazing person, but we'll talk specifically. I guess you can, this time we're going to, now that we know that you're an amazing money mindset expert, we're going to pick your brains and get some strategies out for our audiences. But for the time being, leave us with your parting thoughts. What would you want people to remember you by, or what's the one thing that you want people to understand from today's episode?
I want people to know that they can create the life that they want. They can heal their bodies. They can create the money that they want. They can create, they can manifest their soulmates. It's there. It's there. If you have a desire for that, it's available to you. It's just, you might need the guidance or the healing to be able to do that, but it's there. So don't give up, keep going, keep pushing, go really deep, because that's where the change happens.
Perfect. I love that. And you've said exactly what I say. You won't have a desire without it already existing in the quantum field. So in order for you to have desire, it's already there. It has to exist beforehand. And so it's just a matter of you connecting with it, aligning with it. And the only way you can align with it is by removing the obstacles. And how do you remove the obstacles? Exactly what you just said. Heal. I love that. I love that we're perfectly aligned with this. The whole topic is so fascinating for me. Right, wonderful. So tell us, Nichole, where can we connect with you? How can we find you on the internet?
Well, I have a Facebook group called Money Mindset and Manifestation for the 7-Figure Life. So you can connect with me on Facebook. And then I also have some freebies that I can give to you. So you can put those in the show notes for how they can heal their money and scale to 7 figures.
Love that. So we will have, if you're listening to this on the podcast, then we'll have all the links that Nichole mentions in the show notes. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then down below in the description section, you will have all her links at her website and the links to her freebies. Do go check her out. She's a fellow money mindset expert, and I think she's awesome. So you'll love her as well. Well, thank you so much, Nichole, for being such an amazing guest. We have to have you back on Money Talkies. So please do come back and join us again. And thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Nichole. So thank you for listening to myself and Nichole. I will be back another Friday feature with another amazing guest, sharing their secrets, sharing how they changed their life by changing their mindset. Until the next time we meet, this is Gull signing off. Take care and bye for now.